Welcome back into the Motor Index, folks. And well, it is officially less than 72 hours until the biggest race on the planet, the Indianapolis 500. Yep, the greatest spectacle in racing. One of my favorite races of the year, definitely in my top two or three weekends of the racing calendar in the world. But today we're going to have our Indianapolis 500 best bets, giving out some of my picks heading into this Indy 500 and what I will be looking at betting in this race. Excuse me. So I guess let's just get on right into it. All these odds I got from DraftKings. So your whatever sports book you use could have some different odds, but the same idea is going to translate over. These are pretty much, you're going to see these odds more than likely across the board or in the ballpark for most of these guys. So let's get right on into it. So for my race winner for the Indianapolis 500, I have a group. We're doing this a little similar to how I do my NASCAR picks, where I'll give a winner. I'll give a group of, about 5 or 6 guys who, if it's not my winner, I'm expecting it to be of that group. And then I'll give some long shot winners as well. But I guess my favorite thing about betting these races, especially the Indy 500, but just racing in general, is how good of odds you can get for the favorite. Like, in what sport are you going to get the favorite at plus 500? Like, not very often in any other sport. Typically, you'll see plus 125, maybe like minus 100, like for the winner or something, or for like the favorite. You're never, in no other sport are you getting the favorite at plus 500. So that's why I love betting these so much. But let's just get right on into it. So for my race winner from DraftKings, I have Pato Award plus 500. So that is my race winner. Obviously, we all saw what happened last year, getting passed by Joseph Newgarden on the final lap of the race. He's been in contention for this specific race multiple times before, which gives me a lot of confidence that he will be. And he's been really fast throughout the month of May this year, with practice and qualifying the past few weeks. I believe he's starting third on the front row alongside Takuma Sato and Schwartzman. So yeah, I'm going with Pato Award. I think just after the heartbreak of last year, you don't have the Penske guys at least starting up front to contend with. And the winner for, I think, I don't know the exact number. I mentioned it in my Larson like double preview. Since 2017, I think there's only been 2 winners outside of the top 5 starting positions. So it would be pretty advantageous to take somebody starting in the first 2 rows. But that's not to say some of these guys starting a little further back could win. But Pato starting on the front row, I'm going with him, would be the first Mexican driver in history to win the Indianapolis 500. Let's get into my group of the other drivers I think will be in contention and win the race if it is not Pato. Let's go with the easy one. Alex Palou, best driver in IndyCar right now. I think if he wins this race, I think the F1 talks start to amplify a lot more. Just dominating this season in IndyCar, and as far as I'm concerned, he frankly should be in contention. But I don't remember exactly where he's starting. I think it's on the first 2 rows. So I actually do know it is the first 2 rows. But it would make a whole lot of sense for Alex Palou to win this race. And with the season he's having, I think it would be very fitting for him to win this race. And he's been in contention for it multiple times. So I'm going with Alex Palou there. Scott Dixon, this isn't a hard pick. Like a lot of these guys, like I got Scott Dixon plus 650. I've got Takuma Sato plus 900. And then Alexander Rossi at plus 1800. That's getting plus 1800 creeping into long shot territory. But those are my picks as far as who I think will be the contenders to win this race. And all those guys, I think, like I just said, will be in that group who will win the race if it's not Pato O'Ward. Um, I mean, look at Takuma Sato during qualifying. How about that? I believe he's not running full time IndyCar this year, and goes out there, lays down a monster lap, and puts himself on the front row of the damn race. Pretty freaking incredible. Um, and also, that's the other thing. Both times he started this well for the Indy 500 on the front row, he's won. So, some great, historical precedent there for Takuma Sato. I will certainly probably be sprinkling some money on him for sure. Um, I guess let's get into our long shots then. And sometimes for some of these guys, it kind of feels weird to call them long shots, like Elio Castroneves plus 3,000. And then, which just kind of feels weird, 4-time Indy 500 winner being considered a long shot. But I mean, he's starting very deep in the pack. It's going to take a lot of work for him to crawl his way up to the front. But I think if anybody in the field has the capabilities of doing it, it is Elio Castroneves. And man, what a story that would be if he was able to complete that. There's a reason I'm not picking him to win the race, but certainly among the long shots, without a doubt, has the capabilities of getting this thing done. Kyle Larson, I obviously talked about him in a whole separate video doing the double. People forget he was running sixth, almost in the top five, in the second half of that race last year when he got a speeding penalty on pit road, threw his whole day into the trash can. I just think, how often is somebody just going to step foot into a car and do that well? And I get it. He's not starting as far back as Castroneves. I believe he's actually the spot in front of him on the inside starting row. So, yeah, I mean, just sprinkle him. I think it's plus 1,800. Yeah, I'm going to probably be betting that now. Do I think he will win? Probably not. But of the long shots, I think he's got a good shot. And then to round it out of the long shots, I've got Santino Ferrucci, plus 2,500. As far as, I didn't do any top 10 bets. I didn't look at those. I couldn't find any on DraftKings. But if there were top 10 bets, hammer Santino Ferrucci. I believe it is 6 times out of 6 he has finished inside the top 10 in his Indy 500 attempts. So certainly keep an eye on him, though he is also starting pretty deep into the pack. I believe more middle of the pack compared to guys like Castroneves and Larson. But yeah, those three guys, love the odds on those. And then I wanted to get into some ones I would avoid. 2 of these are very obvious. With Newgarden and Power. Joseph Newgarden being plus 950 and Will Power being plus 2,500. And now, don't get me wrong, like those are some pretty damn good odds for guys of the drivers of that caliber. But starting in the back with the controversy, definitely does not have very many friends around the garage and on the racetrack right now. I think it's not going to happen for those 2, and I would definitely avoid them. Though I see why people might look at that and say, these are 2 very good drivers who are always in contention at this race. For Christ's sake, Newgarden's won the last 2. Let's not mention the car from last year and what they have found in the museum. I digress. Personally, let's just get this out of here or off my chest. I honestly don't think that was a big deal, the whole cheating scandal. I think a lot of people are blowing that a little out of proportion, just a little bit. I understand why people are mad, with the conflict of interest on Roger Penske's part. But if Roger Penske was committing such a big, conflict of interest, why has Alex Palou won all but 1 race this year? If I'm getting that right. I don't follow IndyCar as closely as other people. I'm a pretty, casual IndyCar fan, but I know it's just been the Alex Palou show. And if Roger Penske was so hell-bent on rigging it for his drivers, I think we would be seeing some different results here. So I digress. Nothing's as big as the Indy 500. I get it. But I don't think I don't think there was any ill will on Roger Penske's part. And as far as his drivers, Newgarden and Power winning, I'm not seeing it. Maybe Scott McLaughlin. Scott McLaughlin obviously was the one Penske car not penalized. He'll be starting, I believe, 11th or 12th. I after the penalty, I'm not sure exactly how that lines up in terms of where he's starting from. But hard crash for Scott McLaughlin in practice this past week. But I think they'll have that thing tuned up, and he should be a contender to watch for. I don't have his odds written down right here, but without a doubt, somebody who you guys should keep an eye on. And then my last of the drivers to avoid. So McLaughlin, ignore him for the avoid. The ones I would avoid are Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, and then Schwartzman. I think it's Robert Schwartzman. I don't want to get that wrong, but nothing against him. Looked incredible in qualifying. But I didn't watch the practice sessions after that. But from what I heard from the IndyCar sources that I listened to, when that car got in traffic, it was a much different story than when that car was in clean air at the front. First time ever driving on an oval for Schwartzman in any race or any car. So do I really think he's plus 750 compared to the field? That's really that's how do I say it? That is much closer to the favorite than it is a long shot. And for a guy with no experience at this at oval racing, and when his car got into traffic, it was a lot different than it was in the lead, which obviously that's true, but I just don't see it happening, man. Great story, but I would avoid betting that. I think a lot of people are going to bet it because of the story. I would avoid it. Now, I would love to. I would be sick if I'm wrong and he just went on to win this race because that would be a gigantic story. But I would avoid it. I just wouldn't touch that. But good luck to him. Good luck to Newgarden and Power and all these guys. So let's say a prayer for a safe and exciting Indy 500 this weekend, the biggest race and greatest spectacle in racing. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more content heading into Indy and then the Coca-Cola 600 and the NASCAR races following that.